too much there. They're down 2 maps, and that's not a good start to this group stage. But Zebbosai is defending here with the Sombra on Anubis.
He hacked the early Mega, right? Then he actually threw his Translocator to the other Mega. So they have control of both Megas, but you can see, obviously, they're going to be playing around quite a bit. And now, with Cloud9 up there, they can't play around this one themselves. So now the fact that they can't really maintain this high ground position, or at least use those health packs, gives such a huge advantage for Misfits, especially flankers like TviQ, who can come in, pick up that Mega, fight, recall, pick up the Mega, fight, probably have another recall at the time again.
xepheR got debuffed there. Great biotic grenade coming out from Mineral, who's actually switched over to the Ana in this situation. Normally plays Lucio for the team, almost exclusively. And Misfits' composition really forcing Cloud9 into a corner. Playing these tanks, very difficult when you're not able to play off the health kits either. There's a hook, though, as Manneten gets dragged down from the high ground and DMEC instantly taken out. That's a decent pick for them to start the fight.
That's something that Cloud9 needed. They needed a hook. They needed something to get them out of that hole, that room that they'd been pushed into.
I was just waiting for a bio grenade to come through and just completely splash all of them down. And then just, hey, easy kills for you as long as you rush into that one. But they played it well. I mean, they're using the Reinhardt comp against this kind of dive-centric composition that Misfits was running, especially with the help of Zebbosai. Look at this. Someone, I think it was you, Sledge, that pointed out May.
Yeah,
we're seeing it on Nevix, but we're seeing May here on the last point to stall.
It's pretty interesting. I think it's good on Anubis as well. And Nevix and TviQ were both fantastic at it when it was that particular May meta that was happening, the Beyblade meta. They were both excellent. So icicles all over the place, but he actually gets hooked really instantly.
Well, now Surefour is attack price ready to go. The EMP's going to come in, which won't connect on Surefour now. Off to the side and pop this one down. Where's the D.Va? There's going to be a single one, and it's going to be him getting so many free kills, so much free damage done. But the question comes down to now, is it going to be enough to pick up a lot of progress on the point? The first third will be taken here for Cloud9. Maywell going to come in, which will allow Nevix to contest from the other side of this one. Not to mention Zebbosai throws his Translocator to get back on top of point here. But now Nevix, he's just going to fall for this one. KAISER picks up the kill. The Postman going to give himself a double kill, though, with Adam and Surefour going down. That should be now Misfits holding this point.
A massive turn of momentum there as TviQ finds 2 with the pulse bomb. But that was Nevix managing to stall for so long. Just a great tilted ice wall on the side, and locks himself into the cryo freeze as well to regen his health and become immortal for a small moment. And Nevix buys time for his spawners there. They can get back into the fight. They really haven't had enough of a defense to even build up the EMP kind of system that we normally see, where you have the tanks, they take the damage, they go down to the hacked health kits, you build up the EMP incredibly quickly, you have it for almost every fight that happens, and Zebbosai is going to aim to use it to win each fight. Surefour making the switch as well. They've got a xepheR in this situation. The Maywall as well is going to lock off 2 of their tanks, and the EMP comes down. This should be cleanup duty here for Misfits.
Well, that's going to be Zebbosai getting smacked down by KAISER. Gods, who I guess wasn't in position to get hacked in that. Does get the whole hog kill onto Mineral, but with Nevix and TviQ both picking up kills, this will halt Cloud9. But they can still be happy they've been able to pick up a third of the point to 45.2%. Just about now. Actually, no, let's just talk to you about this, Shower Gel. So when you see a Sombra on 2 CP, and you're playing with them against Cyclowns, what's the attacking strategy to get around this?
You have to play around the wall. You have to kind of try and bait it out and move around. But the difficulty with Cloud9's comp is that they have to stay as a ball. And I do like the pick from Surefour to go xepheR, because there's nobody that can contest him. But they are actually going for another fight here.
And the EMP used at the same time as another shadow. They've caught a couple of players with this May wall as well. So great at being able to split up tanks. That was really why people used to use the May in the first place. They've lost a couple of players not really there with the follow-up. They've forced out an ultimate from Adam, and they haven't really gained that much positioning. So they took the fight, the defense really aggressive, and now they can get a self-destruct into back lines. Again, Cloud9 managed to hold on to the ultimates. Blizzard used from Nevix as well to see if they can pick up any individual fights. Icicles over onto Adam as well. But the Boob, he still manages to connect that final one. But it's such a scrappy engagement here in the final area. And it needs to be clean if Cloud9 want to take it.
I definitely do. I really, really like the Sombra May, though. You know, with this tank comp they're coming through, they just put the wall up, and Zebbosai gets his ult every single fight because of how tanky the Misfits actually are.
You know what I'd love to see? Attacking Sombra into this. To hack the health packs he keeps hacking, to deny that sort of route to go through. Obviously, it's a little bit hard because when you walk through any corridor, you get walled off, right? But I don't know, I feel like attacking Sombra could be a potential counter to a defending Sombra if you can do it correctly.
It's possible, but the other problem with that as well is that if a health kit is hacked, you can't like re-hack it, so it's super difficult for them to play into Zebbosai. And the EMP comes out again. This time the follow-up much cleaner as well from Misfits. They knew exactly what they were going to do. and they managed to pick up everybody full team-wide from Cloud9. Difficult to get value out of their ultimates here.
So let me just clarify, because I didn't know that. You can't hack another Sombra's hacked health pack.
I might be completely wrong. That is my understanding of it.
I can't remember. I'm assuming you can.
You can't hack it, but
hack it.
I believe if it hasn't been changed, or this is how it used to work, is that if you EMP a health pack, it would then go over to your control.
We tested that recently, and that's not true. I think that was just like something that
people... Was that just potentially a bug that had been fixed?
Yeah, I think so. I think teams are still trying to figure out like what possibilities you can have for an attacking Sombra, because we saw it yesterday by Rogue on Hanamura, right, where they build up this EMP, and the idea is you just need one clean fight and you can win, so it could be super powerful. But again, Zebbosai just straight into the middle of them, hits the Earth Shatter as well from Reinforce, and this cleanup is so clinical. Misfits look unassailable with this particular composition. It's really unlocked their individual skill and clinical teamwork.
I mean, this is why they picked Anubis. They had the plan. They knew what they were going to do, and they're executing it incredibly well. You know, look at how quickly the Rhine ultimate, the Earth Shatter came through after the EMP, just straight away. No chance to do anything from Cloud9.
Now I'm wondering what happens when xepheR gets his Godsend surge up to actually combo with Surefour. Instead they're just saying Godsend almost by himself, and Surefour's gonna pick himself two, Godsend hitting himself two, TviQ's gonna be able to pop his attack visor down, but I believe it gets picked off in the midst of that one, and Misfits have been all completely wiped out here. Cloud9 have the chance to at least get 2/3. Can they finish this one off? Is anyone gonna touch the point in time? And that's gonna be it. Cloud9 have finally, after a hell of a lot of time, captured that second point with 1:31 remaining.
That was so crisp from Cloud9. That was absolutely excellent. They knew that they'd just been wiped utterly, completely. Zebbosai had just used his EMP, but they still have all of their ultimates up. So if they're fast, they can find an opportunity, that tiny sliver of time where Zebbosai doesn't actually have an EMP active. He built it up to 50%. The health pack underneath wasn't quite hacked, but they went in, and that was a fantastic use of resources as well onto Gods on the Genji, and he really delivered. The nano boost onto him, nano blade. He has the bubble as well from the Zarya, and Surefour's distracting with the barrage from the other side. It was super crisp from them.
Yeah, and actually changing off from that Roadhog as well kind of gave them a bit more mobility to move around, go through different entrances and find new openings that they weren't finding with the Roadhog. Yeah, Roadhog can work if you get the hook, if you land the hook. There's no chance that anybody's going to live, because you kill them in that combo. But not working for them, they change it up and manage to build up the ultimate, and it ends up working out for them. So well played by Cloud9. I do just want to kind of go back to the first point defense from Misfits though, and actually how well they played it. They hacked both health packs, as you said, Jason, and it meant that it didn't matter which way that Cloud9 went. If they went left, they couldn't use that health pack, and Misfits could go back to the one on the high ground. Or if it is the other way around. And actually, Cloud9 did go high ground, and Misfits, as soon as they dropped down, they went on them. They managed to land their really, really crucial biotic grenade, and then just collapse on whoever's left up top, because knowing that once they drop down, they cannot get back up again. Right. And it was really, really crucial that Gods actually landed that hook, because it gave them the opening. They were massively split, and they could have just kept staggering people from spawn. So it was really well played by Misfits, but at the same time, Cloud9 managed to get themselves out of a sticky situation.
Here's a throwback to DreamHack Winter from the Misfits composition.
I'm really hoping we're going to get some first-person point of view of Manneten here, because Widowmaker, we see what he can do, and I want to see if he can hit these shots, and especially the position he's going to be taking here, because look at this, high ground control. They easily have some shots, but you just can't land them.
Playing into a Pharah Mercy as well, it's a Widowmaker's dream, but he just can't find the headshots there onto Adam and Surefour. TviQ's applying a bit of pressure though. Ooh, harassing them back into the buildings. That doesn't help with the sightlines either, but they've got a lot of damage potential with this triple DPS comp with the Widowmaker as well.
Well, as we talked about with Widow, right? If you miss the shots, then you look terrible, but if you hit the shots, everyone calls in the next time move. And unfortunately, Manneten just hasn't been able to hit them, and eventually he will get cleaned up. I mean, he had the first shot, right? He had the Fair Mercy in his eyes. And
a couple of times.
Yeah.
But the composition, I think, works from a theoretical point of view. Just you have to be able to execute. And if he hits a couple of shots, I think Cloud9 are going to melt.
Yeah, you only have to hit that one shot, that one headshot on the right target, and that's the entire defense can just crumple with the composition that the Misfits have. You just with how quickly that they can jump on you, it can just very quickly just crumple and take that first point.
They've got the res up now, though. Adam with the resurrect. That was a nice direct rocket as well. So he gets picked off. A large collapse up top from Cloud9. They've still got the res that they're able to use. Adam's going to be their priority target, though. If Manneten can manage to find an angle of attack, any kind of shot, That'll be who he's going for, but so far just harassing the back. Look at that, straight into the choke point. They're like fish in a barrel. And Surefour plows a load of rockets into them for another quick wipe of Misfits.
Adam and Surefour, I think, are playing this one relatively well. Consider up against a Widowmaker, right? That limits the amount of control or the amount of real estate you can work with in the air. And somehow, with the communication of them and their team, they're knowing where Manneten is, and then they can play around that extremely perfectly.
He's a great Pharah as well. The Pharah Mercy combo is a real asset for Cloud9. There goes Roolf, and they use the Resurrect to bring him back up. But they've also lost KAISER, so this could be the opening here. They're committing their ultimates to it, Gods with the Dragon Blade as well. They've already found 2 with it. Misfits didn't quite know how to make the best opportunity of the initiation that they'd had, but with Adam now having used his Resurrect, potentially the next fight will be good for them. But the time is ticking down here, and Cloud9 looks so excellent with this Pharah Mercy comp.
Definitely do. Not long left on the clock, 1 minute 40 seconds. And it just shows you how strong and how pivotal that actually Zen is into that composition. Just using the Resurrect for that Zen, that it just shows you that you need that extra healing. You need that damage from the Discord Orb.
He had the Transcendence as well, so really crucial Resurrect coming out from Adam.
Show us what you got, Manneten. Make up for those earlier shots here. Oh, that's Surefour right directly on top of him. Yeah, that's what we talked about with Surefour. Fantastic Pharah. Amazing Pharah.
Amazing positioning as well, because he has to try and dodge Manneten and still get value out of it. Here comes Nevix though, trying to put on his best Dragon Blade. They're managing to find the picks that they need to open up this point, but the time is not looking good here for Misfits. Second point is so difficult to crack. And Cloud9 had all the time in the world to be able to do it. Are they really going to be able to get this kill? No, Reinforce, he has to back off. The spawners are coming in.
Those are just like the mind games you're playing with KAISER. It's like, yeah, I'm all over you. I'm not afraid to chase you down. And okay, let's be fair to Misfits, right? It took them a long time to take that first point, but it took Cloud9 forever to get the second. So if they can still pick this one up in the next, what, 2, 3, maybe 4 attacks, they're still going to have a better time than Cloud9.
Very difficult, though, when they've got Surefour and Sombra as well. Both teams going for this Sombra defense. Misfits seeing if they can push it with the first one. They've got both of their support ults up. Potential for them to take it in this first fight, but Surefour's already built his EMP. Pops that one off. See if they can get the collapse onto people as well. They've already got Reinforce. And there come the kills onto the others. There's only 3 players left alive. They managed to invest a Dragon Blade into this one from Gods. And the Primal Rage, actually. So they forced out a lot of ultimates there on Cloud9.
Oh, TviQ trying to actually escape that one. He was trying to go for that Mega, but gets picked off, and that's, what, another 10 seconds now gone for the attacking side of Misfits?
More time for Surefour to build his ultimate up as well.
And actually, Misfits changing over to the Pharah Mercy comp now as well. Both Manneten and Zebbosai swapping over to their respective roles, but
they don't have DPS on the side of Cloud9 because they moved Surefour and Gods is playing the Genji role. So I guess it's going to be kind of free pickings for Manneten and Zebbosai. Interesting that they're putting Manneten on these key heroes constantly as well. Normally playing the off tanks for them instead.
I do miss the days of seeing TviQ playing Pharah.
He is an incredible Pharah, that's for sure. Zebbosai on the Mercy as well, trying to give aid to him, but he's been picked by Gods. That's not the best start for Misfits. 3.5 minutes for them as well. They just made the swaps though, so they're still building up their ultimates, but they've got to try and force ults out of Surefour as well.
EMP's back up as well after that fight.
I require healing.
So then how are they going to work around the CMP? Because you got Nevix with the Blade ready to go. Zebbosai, who ideally with the help of Manneten should outrange the EMP if positioned correctly. Then again, I mean, it's Surefour. He knows how to position himself perfectly to catch everyone in this one. But Zebbosai is going to have res, most importantly. So if they can get this EMP out and res after and get a huge res, that could still be an easy fight.
Oh, they didn't catch Nevix there with the EMP, and they managed to get the early pick onto Surefour, but his blade was focused down so quickly as well. Here comes the res though. That's a 2 up for Manuel and Nevix. They're going to be able to invest more players into this fight. They've managed to focus down God so well as well. The Genji's just not being able to get any value out of the ultimates here, and Misfits with a great opportunity to get at least a tick on the board. Cloud9 though with a bit of a stalling composition. They've managed to get the 1 tick. Surely, are they going to be able to get 2? No, the stall comes in from Cloud9 for now, but they've managed to force down Gods, moving over to the Tracer, and Surefour falls. This is about keeping everybody alive from Misfits. Having Nevix do a huge amount of damage, and that barrage picks up both of their tanks as well. Huge plays from Misfits, and there's only 2 players left alive. The stall, the Transcendence, it comes through, but it's going to look like a reasonable time on the board. So difficult for Cloud9 to be able to take this one back, and Misfits capture both points in fairly similar time here on Temple of Anubis.
So that res, picking up 2 people, wasting out the EMP out of Surefour, then Gods obviously had the blade to go, right? He popped the blade right after the res was done, and he tried to pick up kills, but they all turned and focused him down. I think if Misfits didn't kill Gods in the midst of that Dragon Blade, that actually could have been Cloud9 taking that one back, at least holding that point a little bit longer. So such a crucial play and crucial focus out of them.
Yeah, Zebbosai doing a really, really good job of actually just floating around the map, flying to different people of different positions, and actually doing a really good job of just staying alive and trying to just bait out dashes from Gods. Once if Gods with the Dragon Blade doesn't get the resets, Genji can be put into a very bad position, just left in the middle of nowhere. And they did a really good job of just keeping them alive and just cleaning up the kills very, very quickly as well. Even when they tried to retake, they had very good focus and didn't give Cloud9 any kind of space to work with and any kind of congestion. So really, really well played by Misfits here, and hopefully they can actually show us how strong their first point defense is going to be, running Sombra again on first point.
Second time around is going to be very interesting. Both teams have an opportunity to adapt to the compositions that they saw last time, try something new, maybe alter their play slightly so that it works out better. Misfits, although they were running the Sombra, didn't even get the opportunity to charge an EMP on this first one. Their positioning was good, but a single hook from Gods onto Manneten and the whole thing fell apart. So they'll be aiming to avoid that, but no changes in the general theme of how they want to approach this first point. Sombra defense coming out from Misfits with triple tank from Cloud9.
Right, so Nevix is actually going to be going high ground to contest this one. They're going to fight this one instead of actually allowing them to push through with that bio grenade. Oh my lord, it hits almost everyone. Rolls to the ground. Zebbosai even picks up a kill on a Surefour, and this is clean pickings. Misfits, Mineral in particular, I mean, we see him on Lucio most of the time, if not 99% of the time. It's a fantastic bio grenade that Cloud9 wasn't expecting.
It's so crucial that they managed to land those, and it's actually really difficult as well.
They left xepheR alive.
Yeah. Oh, they're just stalling the little baby D.Va on so little health. Eventually, he picks him off. Those falls.
Those seconds are crucial on the second run through of any map. You know, that 10 seconds that they've just given themselves is huge at this point.
In terms of the impact it has as well, it's almost like an ultimate. You know, if it manages to catch that many people, denies healing for the entire team, absolutely huge. And it's bought enough time for Zebbosai to get his EMP up as well, right in the midst of them, pops that one off. See if the follow-up is here from the rest of Misfits, doing a huge amount of damage, but they've got such tanky lineup here for Cloud9 that they're still taking their time to fall, chunking each other down and applying a huge amount of healing. Was coming out from Roolf until right at the end there, but they've managed to wipe them again and reset.
So they have the nano visor ready to go too. Nevix is actually at 90%. He's going to have this one in just a few seconds. It comes down to, do they want to hold close or do they want to hold back? Because there's going to be no D.Va. There's nothing to stop Nevix from letting this tactical visor go off.
This is going to be massive if they manage to lock them out without even taking a tick on the first point here. See what Nevix can get done with tactical visor coming out from Nevix. This is a nano visor as well. The one from Surefour really didn't find anything. And in fact, Nevix picks up 3 in the back, just waiting for them to come to the point. And great helix accuracy at the end to flick on the KAISER. Cloud9 tried their best, but Misfits managed to finally execute their composition, what they were aiming for the first time, and lock them out of the first point.
Yeah, we saw how much healing Mineral was actually negating, along with the EMP as well. In that second engage, is that Mineral had his ult, had his nano nano to go, but Roolf on Cloud9 had 40%, and he just couldn't do any healing with that bio grenade that come through, and an EMP just struggled. And actually, whilst Surefour did have his ultimate, they were just so far off kind of any form of really strong, aggressive attack that Misfits just playing it beautifully.
This is an adaptation. Cloud9 played the Pharah Mercy comp so well last time, with Surefour just out of his mind in terms of positioning and dodging Manneten on the Widowmaker, but this time they don't even want to take the risk. They don't want to appear to be predictable in any sense. Roolf switching over to the Zen, and they've got Surefour on Tracer. Misfits are going to begin still with the Widowmaker, it looks like, given what Manneten's on for the moment, but maybe once they see that they're playing into a 2-2-2 and xepheR can play a little more aggressively in the face, they might switch off. It's still actually pretty good at being able to pick up kills, though.
It's interesting to say. I think he might swap off quite quickly, knowing that they have such a strong dive comp with Monkey that can jump on him or Genji.
Considering they only need to get a third of the point, to me it's like, why not kind of play it? Because if you get that one pick, I mean, obviously you can play someone that you can get an ultimate up with the 2 minutes of time you have allotted, then use that. But if he gets one pick, it's a 6-on-5, and I mean, ideally, that's a fight that you can win if you can just hit the shot. That's what it always comes down to as a Widow, if you can hit the shot or not.
I need healing.
We'll see whether he can hit the shot at the moment. Cloud9 not giving
high risk, high
any
reward play.
silent.
They're all holding back on that top right-hand area. They are fully aware, I think, that Manneten has the sideline just over onto the side. The bubble placed, can't really find anything as Misfits engage with the rest of their composition, but they're essentially fighting 5v6 if they can't find that. Reinforcers fallen. They're getting a decent trade onto it, but still opening up the sightlines. That was a pick, though, for Manneten as he manages to kill Adam. That's a large amount of health removed from the pool. They're already ticking it up as well. They're halfway to a single tick. That's their win condition here. They only need 33%.
But what's so sick is he can sit here in this position, and as long as Misfits keep one person on the point, they have to fall to contester, right? So the position that they were holding from to stay away from the sightlines of Manneten just don't exist unless shields are up. And there you go. They're stuck into this corner. Easy picks for us the team. Manneten gets the D-suit onto xepheR, and now Reinforce is going to come back to try to protect Manneten, who's eventually going to go down. But with this amount of kills, with the run back time for Cloud9, that should be Misfits getting this map.
It definitely should be, and they've got ultimates to use if they need to. Nano Boost, Primal Rage coming online. Cloud9, are they anywhere near? Can they trickle in? It doesn't look like it, and that's going to be Misfits taking Temple of Anubis, their first map in this tournament as well so far. 1-2 in the series.
Tracer Soldier.
Yeah.
And we haven't really seen the Genji combo out of Nevix really paired in with TviQ to really make something work for them in that sense. So I'm not sure if that's something they're not necessarily comfortable on, though I would assume coming into this in the boot camp they had for 10 days over at Too Good Studios, this should be something they can play, but they just haven't shown it just yet. Maybe they feel like they don't need to. I don't know.
Starting off with a Winston Diva, Anna for Misfits here. Yeah, the names at the top switched over. Threw me off for a second there, but it is Misfits. And
leaked here live on TakeTV. Cloud9's picking up Misfits.
You heard it here first.
6-man roster swap.
We've seen crazier things in Europe, so.
Misfits rounding the bend, though. This is the crunch time. Big choke point. Engagement coming out here from Misfits as well, as Reinforce tries to put position. Zebbosai's got his nano boost already, though, but a couple of players have fallen, and I think he would have liked to use it onto Reinforce there as well. Nevix has got the high ground potential for him on top of Big Earls, but difficult to really get too much damage when they've got that dome there, the bubble, the Winston shield to play around, and it looks like Misfits are slowly going to chunk their way through this one, especially with Gods, with that Dragon Blade at the end.
Wow, so God's picking himself up 4 kills, and we talked about him. I mean, this man, he originally was like a Widow McCree player, if we keep in mind, way back in the day, back when he was on NRG, and then he transitioned to being a tank player for Cloud9, and now transitioning back to playing more of a DPS kind of role. He's really started to show that he can excel at any role he's thrown at.
God's definitely popping off, but it's a very smart play by Misfits to actually just go aggressive on that point, knowing that they'd lost a couple of players, but actually Surefour taken very low here.
Yeah, it's kind of rough playing on top of big girls when there's a Widow on the enemy team and you have no Reinhardt to actually sit behind. And on Nevix, that's going to be easy kill onto Adam there. This KAISER's going to be able to chain him back in, following him into that cavern.
That was a really good re-engagement from Misfits as well. They were able to push Reinforce really deep onto Surefour, push him completely out of that top tunnel, and then great use of the nanovisor from Nevix to be able to get right deep into them, pick up a load of kills, and re-establish position on the defense. And now that they've got these higher mobility compositions with neither team running for Reinhardt-centric comps, they can afford to recontest a lot more often. So scrappy engagements around this first point. Ultimates up as well, both tank ultimates for Misfits.
Reinforce getting very aggressive there.
The movement to the back, but does get focused down fairly quickly. Wasn't able to pop off his Primal Rage. And now Cloud9 are coming forwards. They're investing ultimates into this one. Primal Rage from KAISER's going to lock Nevix into the corner. No! I don't want to be stuck in Big Earls forever. But he'll be able to respawn. And Cloud9 with a win in this fight. But see, Misfits might still be able to re-engage. They lost players fairly early on, including their tanks. They've got the Primal Rage from Reinforce. If they want to dive back in, they could try and take a fight in this archway.
They could. I'm just concerned where Reinforce is. Actually, so he's right around the corner. He does have the opportunity, so he's going to pop this one down. Does barely. No! They do capture the point just in the nick of time before he gets there. Now that's a wasted ultimate.
Not even going to be able to stall it really anyway, because the payload tends to stop there as the doors open anyway. So a bit of a lost fight for Misfits. Slight mistiming from Reinforce perhaps, but I think he also got booed back by Adam. So perhaps a clutch Lucio play there.
Adam and xepheR actually. xepheR just dashed into him to knock him away.
xepheR's done that previously as well. When Reinforce jumped in, he actually booped him back into the Cloud9's team and actually gets him a free kill. Like Reinforce not respecting that he can get booped and he can get get put into a position that he doesn't want to be in.
Here's Anubis, Winston coming out, reinforced into the back. Really good against the Swishies, huge amount of damage going to be poured out. He needs some healing as well. Had to back off there, really wasn't able to get as much as he could have done out of that nano boost, and Nevix was pressured as well, unable to take control of the high ground and deliver that tactical visor to full effect. Cloud9, again, carrying on this momentum. They're not going to be stopped here.
I think that's actually a really smart play by Misfits by nano boosting the Monkey and Winston, because all you need to do is just get enough damage to force either Roolf or Adam to ultimate, and you've kind of won that 1v1 that trade, because Anna you can gain it so much faster than you can the Lucio sound barrier. So actually Misfits coming out potentially on top of that one.
Well, now they're being shoved into the area. They're going to be trying to come out from here in this cave, and eventually going to make their way through. The Transcendence going to be popped on a Roolf again. I think it's second or maybe even third of the game so far. And so just have the self-destruct ready to go, and with teammates falling left and right, with now 4 men now down. There's no point even waste this ultimate. Might as well save it to his final phase, and Cloud9 again. I mean, looking pretty solid into the second phase. Struggled a little bit on the first earlier on, but now 3 minutes left to go here to close this one out.
Kind of when they were playing in North America, Cloud9 always looked like the execution or the crispness, their cohesion was something that was letting it down. It doesn't seem to be here. They've either really worked on it or allowing themselves to, or Misfits rather, are allowing them to get really crisp engagements out. We see the Reinhardt come towards the end for both teams, making that switch over. Gods, after using this Dragon Blade, might even make the move over to the Roadhog as well, but he definitely wants to get value out of this ultimate.
Oh god, just gets to dash the reinforce. Another blade coming in yet again here. Nevix will have the Cyber to keep him alive, but God's just going to escape in the meantime. No kills with the Dragon Blade, really, but he doesn't die most importantly, which causes Nevix to continually look in that direction of where he's going to be, and it'll allow Surefour to a little bit more freedom to pick up a couple more kills.
Misfits have really struggled to stabilize at any point during this map. We might see the same as Hollywood, where they get down to the final moments and they're just able to hold it. They've got 2.5 minutes, still potential for them to lock it out. They've got some big ultimates to work with as well, but so far they just haven't been able to get the position. Whenever they try for the high ground, Gods has been having an excellent job along with xepheR of just denying it completely for them, pushing them down onto the lower ground, forcing them to play in deathball styles, and really neutralizing Nevix a lot.
Attack Bryce coming out of Surefour here. Soundbear as well to keep him alive. And have a Transcendence pop defensive out of Misfits to make sure Nevix can stay alive here. Just waiting for him to actually pop his own visor, but he's got to be careful. KAISER still has that shield ready to go to mitigate most of the damage. And even that Trans being popped, they don't really commit anything else off the back. They get no kills, but KAISER dies as he's trying to Earth Shatter here. TviQ already gone down. And Reinforce has his own Shatter ready to go, but he's trying to hold on to it. They're trying to delay this point as long as they possibly can.
There's the Graviton up top. It does catch too, but they were on top of the truck. Really difficult for him to find value out of it, but Reinforced with the Earth Shatter does manage to pick up a couple of players. Perhaps more ults than they wanted to invest there. They shaved a minute off the clock and did win the fight, but they've kind of opened the door for Cloud9 in the last minute and a half. And they've got some decent ultimates to work with. This Nano Blade from Gods could get a lot of work done. He's been excellent at getting value out of them so far. And of course, KAISER Earth Shatters, they're deadly.
And they know there's no there's no sound barrier, there's no transcendence, there's nothing to stop Gods and his ultimate here to close out this map.
Here it comes into the back at the same time as the Earth Shatter actually catches them onto the floor. Manneten was attempting to shield for a couple of his players, but Gods with the 4K, huge value out of him. He's been fantastic actually over on this Genji. I was kind of wondering what his performance would be like, but he is performing brilliantly alongside Surefour in this DPS duo. And now Misfits desperately have to try and stop them.
There's a nice shield to block this one from coming through. It's going to catch on to Manneten somehow, as he was desuited by Roolf. And then Reinforce is going to fall off the back of that. That's going to be it. Cloud9 with 3 kills there. Should close this out with 30 seconds left. They don't get put in overtime. And now, Misfits, I don't know. I want to feel really confident about them coming into this whole tournament, but Cloud9 are just walking all over them.
Yeah, Cloud9 definitely an unknown team coming into this, because they haven't competed with this roster or really with any roster where they've had like the Swedish guys involved in an international setting. They've only been in North America competing against those kind of teams. And there really hasn't been a channel between the two regions where you can properly see what the level's like. I think a lot of people just assumed, because all of the absolute elite level teams have been European or with European players, that the overall level would probably be stronger over in Europe. But I don't think that's a reasonable thesis that holds up if Cloud9 end up destroying their opponents in the same way that they are getting the better end of Misfits here. If they continue throughout this group and it's not just a stylistic matchup, you've got to really take into account the level of that team and the level of some other teams playing over in North America as well, and give them the respect.
So I think one thing that we've seen out of Cloud9 that I know they've been working on, because I actually talked to Adam quite a bit about this, is that Adam's role in the team now more focuses on ult management of their team and the enemy team. And we've seen them take advantage of this time and time again by allowing gods to use these blades when they know there's no support ultimate to follow up with. Or when they do know, oh hey, they have a Transcendence, let's jump on top of them, make him use it, then allow God to actually excel and pop his blade down. I feel like that's something that Cloud9's been doing extremely well, where Misfits hasn't really been able to throw a counter to.
Definitely. They look like they have a plan for every fight, and they know what's going to be coming up. They know the opportunities where Gods is not going to be neutralized. And even with like just the raw focus fire out of Misfits isn't enough to be able to burst him down in those situations. xepheR occasionally guarding him with the defense matrix. It's just really good team play coming out from Cloud9 that I wasn't really expecting it to be at that level yet. But this team seems to have gelled really quickly with KAISER on board.
Is TviQ staying? Is he? No, he swaps. That's always something to look out for with TviQ. He can pick up that Hanzo. He's done it before.
And Surefour playing a defensive Widow here. So what's your thoughts on that, Sharjah?
With actually Misfits going Tracer Genji, not great.
Well, they do have the combo of the whole Mercy damage boost plus a Discord Orb, so they can kill 150 HP target by body shotting. It's just getting that shot off with there's so much terrain in the way. I'm not sure if he can really hit these shots.
Yeah, but it does force his Mercy to be pocketing Surefour. There's no other healing coming through for Cloud9, and Adam goes on straight away.
Yeah, the pressure as well from Reinforce and Manneten alongside the dive composition DPS players has forced them into really unfortunate situations. Adam's made the switch over as well. Started on the Mercy, now gone back to Lucio. Going to allow them to engage back into the fight a little easier. But Misfits are just picking them off at the moment. Probably a compositional read as well from Misfits that they're able to take that. But it was an interesting thought to start out Route 66 on the defense. They've certainly slowed them down, and they might actually be able to get back in now that they don't have the Mercy. They're certainly delaying for a long time.
I mean, KAISER's still there to contest the payload. He's got heals up as well from Adam. Switch it over to the Lucio so they get rid of the Mercy. And they've been able to actually stave off this attack here at Misfits. We have to go back to the drawing board and maybe switch some things up. But they do have to pick with the pulse bomb almost up. They do have a blade at Nevix. So we're finally seeing the dive out of Misfits that we wanted to see. This is what Cloud9's been running time and time again against them. And we've been wondering, why is Misfits constantly doing this Tracer and this Soldier? Let's see if they can finally pull off the dive comp to what we hoped to see.
They weren't able to focus down KAISER in that last fight as well. He stayed alive, managed to generate his ultimate, which could be deadly in this fight. They know that the infra site is active as well, so whichever venue they decide to attack, it's going to be completely read by Surefour. KAISER seeing if he can get value out of his ultimate there, pops it down, manages to catch two as well. Mineral onto the floor, 85% of his sound barrier, but that's going to be completely negated. And KAISER getting pressure down only on 24 health. But Misfits just don't have the players to be able to follow it up, it seems.
He had 4 HP and Reinforce is still alive. Why did he... I'm not sure what's going on there. That should have been a kill onto him, and somehow KAISER's still...
He has gone down eventually there.
Yeah.
Sound barrier also used, so a lot of ultimates being expended here from Cloud9, but they're still managing really to hold on. It's very tenuous between the two people, between the two players rather. Their grip on who's got control of the fight at any time seems to swing wildly, but Cloud9 have locked them out from taking checkpoint 1, and it's been a long time. They've only got a minute left on the clock.
I mean, to be fair to Misfits here, even though they're running such a heavy dive comp, it's still a lot of terrain to cover to get to Surefour. And while you're trying to cover that terrain, you take a lot of damage on the way there. The payloads, you know, it's relatively close to actually finish off his first point, but now with less than a minute to go here, Surefour, surely he's eventually going to go down. Finally, Reinforce is able to smack him back into the corner, and that's a 2-kill lead here for Misfits.
Again, being pocketed super well by xepheR. He is playing a fantastic diva for Cloud9. Just the synergy between him and the rest of his team, he always seems to be in the right place at the right time to avoid damage coming onto the crucial players. Surefour making the swap off as well. Doesn't want to play Widowmaker in the streets, but I think that tactic was relatively successful. They managed to delay that for a long time. Unlikely to be able to lock out Misfits for this first point, but it's about the wider picture. You know, now they only have 3 minutes to attack second. If they can delay here, they have less and less time to be able to complete the map.
Pulse one's going to come through, but the trance is going to keep them alive. KAISER getting the kill on Manneten to use this aggression against him. But look at this. It's actually Surefour has been contesting the payload. So the entire time that Misfits has been trying to push aggressively and pick up kills, the payload has not been moving. So they've gotten no ground from this. It's allowed Cloud9 to actually push up into this choke point where the door hasn't shut just yet and use this to their advantage.
all playing around KAISER's shield as well. God's making the switch off, so the team now running triple tank with the Zen. Able to get the high ground fairly easily in this particular stage while they watch Misfits make a little bit of progress with the cart. Nevix is actually flanking around the back left-hand side as well. This is the execute coming out from Misfits, investing ultimates. Nevix is in behind them, choosing his time to pop off this Dragon Blade, but there's also a possibility of the Earth Shatter, and he catches two of them. They're probably going to stay alive though, because Zebbosai used his Transcendence in the middle of that. A lot of damage here coming into Cloud9. A lot of ultimates used from Misfits, but it looks like they are getting the better end of the point.
Nevix with the blade is able to get at least one kill off the back of that with Zebbosai securing the kill on a Surefour. So a couple of men advantage, a couple stagger kills as well, as xepheR's finally going to go down. And the payload's going to get a little bit further, but now it's look towards what do they have into this cavern. So TviQ, he's going to be the man to watch here. xepheR, can he eat this pulse bomb with the defense matrix, or are Cloud9 going to come in from different angles? Are they going to come from this same cave, which, assuming if you're C9, you should not be doing, and they know they shouldn't be doing.
Reinforced with the Primal Rage here as well might get massive value out of it if he's able to pop it off. I mean, they've used the sound barrier as well. He's getting a huge amount of cleave damage. If at any point he chooses to use the Primal Rage, there's so he's flying. He's a flying gorilla.
Primal Rage now pops here. God's able to get the hook back in onto him, but just hooking him to maybe his own death. He's just trying to knock them off the payload. TviQ will get the kill to Surefour as Reinforced is still just trying to dance around with God's 70 HP remains. Going to just leap away. In the meantime, the rest of the team's going to be there to help out. And Manneten, Nevix, and TviQ all close this one out. And there we go. Misfits get the second point.
Once they got the ball rolling, they felt like it was, the momentum is there. They're switching Reinforce over to the Reinhardt as well for this final stage. KAISER as well had already switched. So Reinhardt's such a compositions for both teams coming into this, but only 2 minutes on the clock for Misfits, and they must complete.
The switch is a good switch from Reinforce. Like, he just used his ult. Great time to swap onto this last point. Doesn't lose any ult percentage, and now
Nevix have a chance. With the Dragon Blade as well, swishing it out. Discord Orb has been put onto KAISER, but he couldn't find the kill. The peel there, excellent from the rest of Cloud9, and they managed to keep a lot of players alive. Difficult for Misfits to get value out of their ultimates there, and Nevix is actually making the swap over after using that Dragon Blade to D.Va. Triple tank composition, but with no Roadhog here for Misfits. A minute left to try and equalize the time that Cloud9 set on their offense.
Manneten, they'll switch to the Zarya, so they're looking for a big wombo combo to finish off this map, and the minute 20 remaining, they have to do it relatively quickly. They have a lot of distance to cover. KAISER towards the back to get the charge onto Reinforce as they butt heads, but he has his Earth Shatter ready to go. And look at Cloud9, 4 big ults to use here. As we do see Mineral and Zebbosai both with support ults, at least counter Gods, but with the way that Cloud9 have been baiting out these support ultimates, you have to be so careful here as Misfits. You need to close this game out. You have maybe, I want to say 2 solid attacks with maybe a scrappy straggle 1-by-1 in last attack. It's going to be damn tough.
They can find
here.
a good Earth Shatter here as well. They might force out the support ultimate from Adam, but it's the other way around actually. KAISER with one of his own, and they popped the Transcendence, but Mineral had already died, and Manneten falls as well here to the Nano Genji as God comes in with his Dragon Blade, and they are tearing Misfits apart. 30 seconds now for them to complete and have a chance at getting a second map for them.
All right, so Reinforce, it's all on you, man. Shower Gel, for the situation, how crucial is him to hit this Earth Shatter?
It's very crucial. He has to get something more than a even Ryan. He needs to be able to get Gods or Surefour. If he can get Roolf and Adam, that's going to be the key targets that he wants. He cannot afford to just hit KAISER with his ultimate, and if he hits the shield, that's going to be devastating.
Oh, he gets the knockaway.
Does get Adam in the back, Adam.
Adam in the back, see if he can get value from this dive from TviQ at the end here into overtime for everybody. 99% from Manneten. If he can avoid throwing it into xepheR's arms, then this could be pivotal for them. They've got it. The Graviton did it catch anybody? It did. It's caught a couple of players. xepheR in the middle of that though, but it's a nano boost over the top from Gods as he tries to apply a lot of damage. Misfits at getting the picks though, and they've managed to demeg xepheR. This could be the clutch from the Swedes.
Gods is at 80%, 90% now. If he could just get his ultimate online, thing is he has not a lot of HP to work with here. The payload is still moving. Someone's gonna have to contest it. Finally comes in. Gods goes down as his Dragon Blade was almost online here. Manneten is still doing so much damage here from the side as Reinforced close to another Earth Shatter. KAISER had he just had it up and he tried to get it up, but he got picked off last second, and finally Misfits will cross the line in overtime and have a minute remaining.
How did they manage to do that one? Utterly clutch that they're able to take that away. Manneten gets his ultimate just in the final moments. Then Gods is just about to reply and they manage to take him down. Manneten again finding the pick there. And then KAISER has the Earth Shatter, could have potentially delayed. They just get him as he gets his ultimate online and drops his shield to initiate. Real clutch plays coming out from Misfits there to keep their dreams of taking a 2-2 in this series alive.
Still doable. You know, we've seen kind of happen in different maps as well as Route 66, where a team has 1 minute or 1 minute 30 seconds, and they actually push the entire way through. So
sounds like my rate games, except it's not me pushing the entire way through. It's the other team doing that to us.
So both teams will not think, oh yeah, we've got 30 seconds, we can win this. This is in the bag. You know, that 30 seconds does give you that extra push for Cloud9, which is crucial, especially when Ultimate's going to be coming up just around that time.
So if you're the situation, Showergel, do you want to go, if you're the defending side here for Cloud9, do you want to attack right away and try to lock them for pushing payload at all, or do you want that really good fight around the bend?
I'd say you fight much further up. We saw Rogue do it yesterday, actually, and they fight right around the entrance so that they get as many fights possible on this first point. You know, they have the spawn advantage when the cart is right next to the actual kind of finishing line on this first checkpoint, and by not holding forward, you lose a fight. So it's interesting to see, and you do give up a lot of position, and it is a lot harder to pull off when you're running tank compositions. You know, Rogue running dive it's a lot easier to make it work.
Cloud9 are just giving up the position right at the front, at the very least, making sure that they have a bit of an established defense on top of Big Earls. The question is, when do they choose to drop down and initiate? KAISER and Surefour are going to be the guys to watch, see where they end up splitting off when they drop down alongside xepheR, and try and contest this one. Misfits are getting a lot of ground for free here. We have seen teams with only a minute on the clock hold way closer than this on Route 66. So even this is looking decent. If they can win a fight, this will also be fantastic. Cloud9 at the moment look a little unsure of when they want to drop, when they want to initiate, but they're going for it now.
Dude, eventually here, Reinforce is going to be looking for that 1v1 against Surefour. He's about half HP, but 80% on his ultimate already. TviQ has gone down to a charge on a KAISER, and no one's even on the payload. Misfits showing Cloud9 how to pull themselves, and they don't continue to push the payload further as they lost too many men.
C9, lol?
Yeah, I don't...
that look says it all.
That's got to be a big gutting from Misfits. To be fair, I think they were getting the worst end of the fight anyway. They had traded both of their tracers, and they have faster spawns, but that would have been still a difficult one for them to regain control of, I think. They didn't quite get the initiation they wanted to, and Cloud9 played that fairly well. I mean, having said that, they gave up a ton of
exactly,
room.
They got a terrible initiation. It was a terrible fight for them. But the fact they got that far around Big Earls, kind of shows that Cloud9 gave a lot of ground for maybe no reason.
And I think Misfits are the kind of team that will hold really far up. They want to play in the optimum possible compositions, you know. They're the kind of team that have the flexibility on their team, that they don't want to play to their own style, I think. They just want to play what they consider textbook Overwatch. And I think in their minds, holding aggressively, at least maybe not right outside the spawn, but at least around the first bend, and trying to hold it maybe even before it comes around the first bend will be their aim here. It's also really interesting to me, actually, that they've got Zebo on the Ana rather than the Zen, because if they want to try that aggressive style, he would surely be better off on the Zenyatta, but perhaps they want kind of a blend of the two with Zebo a little further back.
I mean, that kind of speaks to me that they want to hold the first corner here. They want to be able to put both Reinforce kind of on the front line and keep him alive, but
wait,
for the first time, they are running triple DPS.
I was going to say, if they're going to hold that corner and let them come to them, then they're pretty much giving up this entire map, but they're going to finally push back out. They're on top of the payload here. KAISER with the Reinhardt trying to provide that frontline cover they need with the help of a shield, which is Oilo and HP. TviQ as well, finally on the Genji. Finally, we're going to see this man playing the Genji, or the Gengu, that's how you want to call it. But so far, no kills coming through just yet. Just a really big skirmish.
But a lot of stalling, and they can recontest this point anytime they like. They're into the back lines as well. The supports of Cloud9 have actually committed out of the doors, but they're managing to turn it anyway. God's getting a lot of damage out, I think, and KAISER keeping that front line really strong. Got the biotic grenade coming in here from Zebbosai, but this is the advantage of holding forwards. They should be able to recontest before that payload actually reaches the yellow checkered box. Cloud9 aiming to group up on the cart as well, just baiting them towards them. They've got the position that they want. They're aiming to push it as fast as they can, ×5 on the payload as well. Misfits have got to be fast if they want to take this engagement, but they do have an opportunity for 2 fights because they took that one so aggressively at the start.
This pulse bomb, Manneten, if he can just hit this with them groups on the payload, this could be huge. This actually could save the map here for Misfits. We can see him trying to go in, trying to look at the avenues. He's been forced to recall because he has no HP left. He's still looking for maybe KAISER just to stick this one too. He's gonna, oh, if he stuck that, he charged in his own team. That could have been the downfall of Cloud9. And now TviQ popping this blade down with no Anubis to use, as we do see a Boostio in the mix of this one. It is hectic.
Oh, the hook onto Nevix as well when he had his tactical visor up top. They've got the nano boost onto the Primal Rage Winston as well, but players are falling left, right and center for Misfits. This card is going to continue moving forwards. Reinforce was the only player there, and Cloud9 are going to complete the map. On Route 66, take 3 maps in their first series, and they look strong to start out TakeOver 2 as the only real North American team here. Fantastic showing from them. KAISER looks